Hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies coming to you with Bunnahabhain 12.
And whiskey literature.
Boom, whiskey literature.
Let's test it.
Test it! I was like, Ricola. All right, Bunnahabhain 12, Bruno. This one's been sitting in the queue for quite some time.
It has
and it's
been.
an Islay.
And we've had a lot of people recommending it.
Yeah, and it's a sherry-based Islay, so it should be like...
It is?
Yeah, well, it's got some sherry notes. I don't know if it's sherry-based. I shouldn't say that. I know it's got some sherry notes in it.
I did not know that.
At least that I got on it. Let me check. Now I'm freaking out.
I don't think so.
Well, maybe not. I think I got some sherry in there when I tried it, but they got the pronunciation, Bunnahabhain. Aromatic experience, did a little smoke, light fruit, and a peel that leads to a sweetness. Maybe the fruit's what I'm talking about. Well, we'll get into it. We will get into it. I shouldn't say sherry based.
Watching you mumble.
Yeah, I know. They'll be like,
This is a very dark bottle.
Yes.
If this, I don't know, is this non-chill filtered? And is this any natural color? That's what we should have noted as well.
Look. We're also going to be talking about whiskey literature. Now, where does the whiskey literature come from? It comes from a question on YouTube. Sorry, did you want to go on this a little more? Did I interrupt you?
No, let's go. Let's move on.
Martin Colmer on YouTube had a comment, and he wanted to know, do we read or recommend any kind of whiskey literature? And he mentioned, what did he mention? Whiskey Advocate. Do we read the Whiskey Advocate?
I don't know. Do we read the Whiskey Advocate?
Boom, baby. We read the Whiskey Advocate. We got this one here with the 22nd annual. We got whiskey food going on with that one. That one was a good one. Talk about cheeses. We got something going on with the Craig Gallagher 17 pictured on there. I love this one. Anytime you got a crystal ball and a tumbler with whiskey in it, that's going to be a good episode. Here we come in with some wild turkey. Boom, you know I like the Turkey 101. They reference it on there along with some rye. And then we got a beautiful spread of Glencairn glasses. That's just some.
That was a great story.
Thank you. Now, do we read the Whiskey Advocate? Yes, we've been subscribing for what, 4 years?
3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years, yeah. And then...
Fact is, the Whiskey Advocate, every year, if you wait till the end of the year, they send out the little Christmas, New Year's special gift, give away to a buddy.
Give a gift to a buddy.
You subscribe, give it to a buddy, so each year we alternate. He pays 1 year, we both get it for a year. The next year it's my turn.
I think you suckered me once and I paid 2 years in a row.
No.
I think you did. You set me up because I'm easily confused.
Even if I did, it's only like $12.
I know, but you were like, I did it last year. I'm like, I'll do it again. All right, then we got Whiskey Classified, choosing single malts by flavor. And I'll put a little shot of this because this is from David Wishart. So this one is cool. Matter of fact, just to show you, they've got the major distilleries on there too. So there's Bunnahabhain.
Yeah.
So right there we got the Bunnahabhain. So you can go read on it. Bunnahabhain. Make sure make sure you pronounce it right. And then what's the other one that you and I have shared and recommended?
Bourbon Curious by Fred Minnick.
Fred Minnick, Bourbon Curious, who is also a commenter. He now writes or does some of the tasting notes. For reviews in the back of the Whiskey Advocate. Yeah. So do we read whiskey literature?
And I got one. I can't remember what it is either. My wife bought me. It's a very beautiful. It's like a Scotch whiskey encyclopedia.
Wow,
huge
like
hardcover. And I should have brought it to show you. It's good too. But there's a lot of different resources out there. Whiskey Advocate isn't the only magazine. No, there's others.
You know what I like about Whiskey Advocate is the photography in there is gorgeous.
Oh yeah, they do a great job. And of course, it's only bi-month, or it's quarterly. Every 3 months they put out an issue, so plenty of time for them to put it together. It's very well done, though. A lot of great advertising. You see some of the pictures in there for whiskeys. You just want to go buy it.
Yeah, they really do. And anytime you got
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Anytime you got Leonardo, that's going to make you want to drink some bourbon.
Yeah.
Unless you're wearing a hat, like what I got on.
There's cigar advertisements and stuff in there, and whiskeys.
But look at this. Look at this premium blend. I mean, just let me make sure there's not. Look at the shot. I mean, it's just because bottle art and the liquid itself is gorgeous. So yeah, Whiskey Advocate. Just phenomenal on what they got going on. I mean, I just turned to one and see, but they've got stuff
It's
on
a great
distilleries, so enough of that.
I tell you, that shows up in the mail, and I'm
Yes.
breaking it open.
I got 2 upstairs that I'm kind of, because I always read from front to back, and I get to the end and they do all the, they have malt marks on all the different whiskeys, and they'll cover scotches and world
Well, not
whiskeys.
all,
And
but probably about 50 each month they review and give notes on.
Well, I don't
from
mean all, but I mean,
Scotch to Irish whiskeys to Japanese whiskeys, Canadian whiskeys, America's bourbons, everything.
well, then they do this cool little deal, which are, they'll do a highlight. And what they'll do is they'll say a focus. I think they call it a focus on, like in this case, focus on Highland Park Warrior Series. And they'll do these little focuses where they give you a little bit more, like here's the Glencaddam. So they do some really cool stuff in there. But let's get to the Bunnahabhain.
Bunnahabhain. I was looking, it does say it's non-chill filtered. Hopefully it's no color added. Usually with a dark bottle like this, you don't need to see the color of the whiskey. You're buying what's in there.
Well, and for those that are new to whiskey, we get a lot of brand new folks that are coming over to whiskey in general. Don't judge the spirit by its color alone. Case in point, I used to do that when I was brand new. Peat Monster. You got the Peat Monster from Compass Box. I come over to his house, I'm like, come on, look how pale it is. That's a sign of the rookiness that I had. I mean, and you're like, no, it's really full of flavor, and you like the smoke, and I'm like, come on, it's like got nothing. It hadn't been in a cask long enough. And then I tried it, and I was like, woo, boy, my eyes lied to me. Who cares about the color?
That's actually got a pretty rich color to it.
It does.
For a 12.
Nice amber.
It is an Isla. What does Bunnahabhain stand for in Gaelic?
Oh, boy. Mouth of the river.
Yes, very good.
Well, we have a cheat sheet.
Took you, though.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't expect it.
Yeah, I know. You caught me off guard, and I was trying to go with memory, and then I thought I can't pull it from the memory. We have a little cheat board behind us, or behind the camera, because my memory will fade, and I will say something like, en route.
See, I wouldn't have told them we had it. Cheat sheet.
I'll always disclose. we got cheat sheets.
We got a cheat sheet up for Bart.
Let's be honest. It's mostly for me because I'm the one that said en route means passion from Herman.
That won't happen.
And Herman was like, no, I said nectar, not passion. So the cheat sheet, let's be honest, totally for me. Because I would have said it means like mouth of the cave. It's a cave mouth. And you would have been like, I don't think so. And I would have sold it like I knew. Sorry. Am I going too long? Am I rambling? What's your nose, brother? I got it. Go ahead.
You asked me what my nose is.
You took too long. Like I was trying to be quiet.
Well, is that a peat? I didn't have peat in my original notes. It's unpeated, but you get that salt, iodine, Isla.
I don't know about unpeated, but well, I get a dark fruit, kind of a rich plum. But you're right, I don't get any smoke on it at all. So I'm not picking up any like peat smoke on the nose, at least. But I'm going to tell you, this has sat in our queue for a long time. I tasted this in July 9 of 2015. It's been some time. So
I'm trying to place what that is, and I've smelled it from other whiskeys. But it's kind of that sea, iodine, salt. It's sour to me. It smells like glue.
Now I'll give you on the taste. I get a malty cereal oak, and then looking at my notes going back, I get a subtle fruit, a sweet fruit underlay, but right on it, I get a little bit of that brine, a little bit of that seawater, that sea mist almost. I wouldn't say it's a sharp, but it's like a misting sea.
Yeah, I get the malt in there as well with you. Pretty strong maltiness.
But the briny mist, you know, I used to work on a cruise ship on the East Coast. I knew you were going to laugh at that. But we're up in Bar Harbor, Maine, tidal ranges of 22 feet. And you would get that when a storm kind of blew up. You could taste kind of the salt in the air a little bit. That's kind of what I get here. You don't have experiences like that you ever share.
Well, if I do, I share them once, not 42,000 times.
But I added in Bar Harbor, Maine, and the mistiness. I mean, you got like when I was on the prairie near Peaburg and a tornado dusted up. I tasted dirt. So, I mean, give us some of that. You know, I haven't had any back on there was prairie sagebrush and tumbleweed. I'll get a little tumbleweed.
Oh, that one's coming up.
Is that coming? That's coming. So, all right. Now with the, let me see. I've added a little bit of water.
It's 46.3% ABV also. A little strong, but actually neat. It's decent. It's not real strong.
No.
Not a real strong alcohol burn to it.
No. It's a little astringent, which is dry, a little bit dry. I've got in my notes that I got a little bit of sting in the cheek, which would be from the alcohol, but I'm not getting that now. But I definitely get that dry mouth feel in the aftertaste. Mm-hmm. And the aftertaste is kind of oaky, but it definitely leaves you dry, like a dry wine.
Grassy, maltiness, and a slight sweetness, citrus, lemon, maybe. It's a lighter citrus fruit.
Mm-hmm. When I hold it in my mouth a while, I can get a little bit of the lemon. I see what you're saying there. There's a little bit of lemon citrus. The big thing that really, I mean, it tails off oaky and dry. Very, very dry.
Yeah.
Very dry. Hey, forget what I was going to say. We've got the literature. Well, later on we do have a mention. We got a mention for a Patreon follower, but we'll do that closer to the end. How about
not do it now? You just brought it up.
We could. I like doing it at the end.
Okay.
I like it as a wrap up, but is it worth it?
Up.
It's on the cheat sheet. I looked at the cheat sheet and it just.
I don't know. What's you bought it? What's the price range on it?
You know, I don't even list the price range, which is one thing that came up from a commenter too. They wanted to know, do I factor in price range when I taste? I don't. So I don't know the price range, and without looking it up.
This is mid 50s to 60.
Yeah, that was my memory, that it was right around $60. Mm-hmm. God dang it. I mean, it's worth it, but I'm going to be honest with you. When I reach for an Islay, I'm going heavy peat, and I'm looking at a lot of the Froigs when I go there, and so it's good. I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't been tempted to go back and even touch this since July, so I'm going to say it's worth the price point that it's at. But for me, it's not a must-have. I'm not as big, though, into the dry, astringent whiskeys. I either want heavy smoke hitting me in there and a little bit of the sweetness. What about you?
Okay. Now, I showed you my score because this is factoring into my is it worth it. Originally, I would have said no, it's not worth it. I didn't like it. The first time I tasted it, I gave this an 80.
Really?
I thought, I don't see what people are seeing with it. It didn't appeal to me, but sitting here now, it improved. I do like it. It's not, I wouldn't go out and buy it. And even now at an 85, I don't think it's worth it. I wouldn't buy this.
Well, my score is 84. And predominantly, I like the flavor notes with it. I'm not a big oak fan, which is one reason why a lot of times I don't like the real old whiskeys, because they're heavily oaked up. Not all of them, but some of them. And then the astringent taste on the end is not really it's not something I look for. And that's why it scored a little lower. It's still very flavorful. Yeah. But it's the astringent and the oak.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that brings it down for me. It's a great dram. I mean, I like it. But I'll say that I think that's my biggest thing, is I haven't been tempted to go back to it.
Right.
And that's why I think it's a quality dram, and we're going to take some hits from this, because I got a lot of buddies I know that like this. Yeah. They really like it. But for me, that is why it's a little lower. I'm not as big a fan of the astringent dryness, and the oaked up taste, and it's not overpowering, but it's one of the strong.
Maybe it's some of the astringent, the iodine, the salt that's in there without the minus the peat.
Yeah. So I mean,
well, I'm trying to think. The Brook Lottie, the classic Lottie,
right,
is an unpeated Isla, but I liked it.
Well, yeah, it's very cereal malty though.
Yes.
I mean, the
and more
classic
citrusy,
Lottie.
fruity, if I remember right. I'd have to look at my notes. But
I just get a lot of cereal malt.
I don't know. This doesn't appeal to my palate as much.
Yeah. For me, it's the dryness and the oakiness. That's what brings it down. As I've tasted more and more and more, I'm definitely finding the things that I lean toward, the things I don't. Astringent and oak, not so much. We do need to mention we've got a Patreon follower, Harry Hitchings. Mm-hmm. Harry Hitchings came on.
Thank you, Harry.
Yeah, so we appreciate that, Harry. If you want to help us out, help us keep the show going, go check us on Patreon. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, we love your comments. If you want us to review a bottle, comment on it. Please give us the thumbs. Please subscribe. The more subscribers we have, kind of the better our reach is.
We'll see though. Just because you recommend something doesn't mean we're going to buy it. It kind of depends. If we get a few, if we have one person telling us to buy a $200 bottle of Scotch, probably not going to happen.
No,
we have 15 people telling us we got to try this.
That, and then be quite honest, we're in the middle of Kansas. We've got a pretty good selection, but we can't get everything.
Right.
So we can't get everything. Yep. So, but all right, Scotch it, you Scotch gods.
Cilantro. Dummies.
Test it.